you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Do you see them anymore? Those saying we are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, I will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. I saw just Okado did that Lord Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope of them prove to us that you are stood. Give us land in Olo. Hope of them will give them land in Olo. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer a misery. But see, they come down to the south. They tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obioso was talking rubbish. Was yesterday or 2 days ago. Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never ever be objective in their reportage. Never, ever, ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you are from Europe. Don't join them. It's about where we come from. If you want to know what your life is going to become in the future, look at Hausa people. If you want to understand appreciate, I will say, the life that you are about to bequeath to your children and grandchildren, look at Hausa people. Is there any Hausa governor today? Is there any Hausa emir? Is there land though? Katsina is Hausa land. Kanu is Hausa land. Sokoto is Hausa land. The Hausa people own it, indigenous to those areas. I'm asking you this question. Is there any Hausa man who's an emir in the north? The answer is no. Something is going to happen to you. If you don't rise up now to break, I'm not even asking people to break this, you demand for what rightfully belongs to you, your freedom. The freedom to decide. The freedom to write a constitution if you prefer. The freedom to live with whoever you want to live with. That is what we're asking for. But most people misunderstood what we are saying. And today, almost everything we have said about the zoo has come to pass. Everything we have told you, everything I told you has come to pass, hasn't it? Everything. And some people are still questioning and arguing. They said, Fulani will resist by all means necessary, including armed resistance, any attempt to forcefully eject them from the forest. Yoruba, you must ask yourself this question. When we were pursuing them from Ebonyi, why didn't they say something about ESN on Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Because they know we are prepared to die to defend our land. They understand that very well. That is the only language the Fulani understand. You cannot say to Fulani, oh, let us have a Fulani president, and after that all will be well. Never, ever, ever. They will continue to expand. They will continue to identify idiots in your midst, traitors, saboteurs in your midst. They will promise them heaven and earth. They will give them anything they ask for in order to ensure that they get into you, they subjugate you. Look at Yoruba and the Ilorin. Yoruba, how did you lose a Ilorin You lost a Ilorin because somebody thought or felt that by aligning himself with what he felt was a superior Fulani force, he can defeat his own people. Afonja, what happened? As a result of that miscalculation, the great Yoruba race lost Ilorin to Fulani Caliphate. That is why in Ilorin you have an emir of Ilorin, not an Oba of Ilorin, answerable to Sokoto. That is where Lai Muhammad comes from. You can see them. Sokoto slaves in Yoruba land. When I say that it's not religion, it has nothing to do with it.
Okay, yes, let's pause it there. Let's pause it here and we'll begin from here. I am going to bring it back. There is a reason why I have to pause it here. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, great and wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. I greet you according to your time zone. Wherever you are watching from, you are welcome to this program. While you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook at Judge Money blog platform. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, click the like button for the algorithm to also do the sharing. If you are actually watching on Facebook, share the videos. Don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube channel. Share it as well from YouTube. We are here once again to continue where we stopped. And it is very, very important that we continue to preach this gospel of emancipation, gospel for freedom. And we will contextualize where I stopped this Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's gospel to what is going on in Niger Republic and how the whole world is reacting to it. And because of the time we are right now, that is exactly the reason why you see what is happening in Niger Republic is actually shown to the whole world. This same thing was, if you look at it, so many of you will understand that the people of Niger might be fighting for what belongs to them. The same thing we did. Try to fight for what belonged to us in 1967, and the whole world turned against us because they do not want truth to be told. They do not want people to be free, including the African nations turned against us because they do not want us to be free. That is exactly the reason why the Nigeria state is actually trying to reciprocate what the jail did for them in 1967 as they entered and joined force with Nigeria to massacre our people in the genocide of 1967 to 1970. So we have understood exactly the reason why the president of Nigeria decided that he wants to restore democracy in Niger Republic, because democracy was what they used to make Niger Republic to kill our people as well in 1967. So that is the reason why we will continue to bring back and forth this issue of Niger Republic and update that is coming out of Niger Republic. As you may all know that we are in the 21st century where there is information dissemination is actually accessible. When you disseminate information, people can access it. It is not like 1967 when things happened. It is only the mainstream media that will carry it, and they will use it the way they want to use it without actually being objective, without actually reporting what exactly is playing out or is going on around that society of Africa where they are covering, where heinous crime are committed, both by the people of the West and both by the people of Africa, because black on black violence does not threaten. It is actually what they want. It is the cheapest way of fighting their battle, because the battle against black people, it is a systematic battle which has been implemented for very many years, and it continues to haunt us as black people because we black people, we are mentally enslaved. And for us to get away from this mental slavery, we must actually think about what is it that is making our people to be lame? What is it that is making our people not to be innovative? What is this that is making our people to be very, very independent? Our leaders are very, very independent. Our leaders are very, very dependent on the West or everything that is done by the West. Our political leaders can never do anything in the favor of the country. Our political leaders are always chasing after international funding, international, free money. That's what they continue to chase after. So, which actually give room for these people to continue to come into Africa and continue to exploit what Africa possesses, what God bless Africa with, the riches of Africa. And there is no way, sometimes you will find out you cannot blame the West because we gave them the room, we created that vacuum for them to come in. So they are actually taking advantage of a situation that is at hand in order to diversify their own problem. So in that situation, it is up to us to change our mindset before we will be able to join this economic emancipation, mind emancipation, etc. But if we are not able to, understand how to diversify our problem, how to use what we have in order to solve our problem, there is no way we are going to win or we are going to emerge in this global stage in the competition of the big world. Now, if you look at the picture that is right in front of you here, you will understand it is a picture of there was a lot of things we were discussing yesterday before we joined Radio Biafra. Now you will understand there is a video here. There is a picture of a video here in front of this picture where a man discussed exactly what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu talked about. In this Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's voice that I just played now. That is exactly the reason why I decided to pause that video where I pause it, because I really want to contextualize it so that you will understand that everything that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been talking about are things that are in existence. It is not exaggeration, and we will continue to make sure that we bring it to the world, for the world to see and understand what is going on. Share the video. So, first of all, there is a pipeline we were talking about that moved from Biafra land to Europe. Pipeline moved from Biafra land, go across the Sahel region, including Niger Republic, where the pipeline passed through. That is the first photo that you are seeing on the top left-hand corner. And the second one is the video I am going to talk about as well. And when you look at the third one, it is bringing back what transpired in the Red Chamber few days ago, where the Senate were sharing Nigeria money and they call it that they are using it for research. So now it is very, very important for you to see how they want to downplay and sweep it under the carpet. We are going to reiterate on that. We talked about it before. Now I am going to show you that it is something that is actually happening all the time. It is not the first time this type of thing took place in Nigeria, and we are going to talk about it and now share more light to it and bring the evidence that backs it up to say it has been happening. It is continuous thing that is happening in Nigeria. So now, on the other hand, is the block of BRICS block, which is these emerging economies of the world joining themselves together in order to form a currency that is going to dethrone every other currency that is being used, mostly in the market trade. So, it is the BRICS bloc where people of like mind decided to bring themselves together to form economic empowerment or to empower each other economically, which I know that anybody that is actually very, who want mind emancipation, who want economic emancipation and economic independence, will not actually argue to join this BRICS bloc. It is a good initiative that was formed, I believe, before it was formed around 2000, 2001. And then you see the members of the BRICS, which the BRICS simply, it is a synonym of Brazil, Russia. The I signifies India, and C signifies China, and the S signifies South Africa, which is the people who form the founding members of BRICS. And there is a saying that says when you want to start crying, it is very difficult, but when you start crying, you feel like you don't want to stop. So that is exactly what the BRICS bloc had actually faced over the years. That's why it looks like they were placed on a periphery, but they have been there for more than a decade. They've been there for more than a decade, but now they are coming out. They are the emerging economy who has the potential to take over, to take over the financial market, to take over the world economy, because they are going to, if they have this upcoming meeting they are going to have, which South Africa is going to be the host nation of these BRIC blocks in this BRIC summit that is going to take place in South Africa. So many other nations have written application to join, including France. France wanted to be invited to the BRICS summit. I know that the last time I checked, he was turned down, so I don't know if he's going to go there for the BRICS summit, because he wants to poke his nose everywhere where there is anything that is going to empower Africa, so that he will be a spy or he will infiltrate them, look for a way to infiltrate them. But this time around, I believe that these blocs, they are very formidable and they know exactly what they are doing and who they are going to avoid in the sense of trying not to be infiltrated. Now, if you look at this BRIC bloc, United Arab Emirates, or will I say the Saudi Arabia, they have written application to join BRICS, which they are going to be, maybe announced in the upcoming BRICS summit. So it is very, very important that this BRICS summit is going to actually, if I am not mistaken, if they admit all these application that is on their table, they basically might be able to, have on their side 60% of the world economy. 60% of the world economy on their side. They will actually make up 60% of the world economy. So for you to understand that the de-dollarization is something that is imminent. It is imminent. So it is very, very important that we are actually fighting to be a nation. We are we are going to be called an emerging nation, which is the nation of Biafra. And this type of initiative are the type of initiative that we are actually, going to be part of. This type of initiative, it is a very, very, good development. And those initiatives, we are, lovers of BRICS, and we are also the friends of BRICS, and we will continue to, promote everything BRICS, because it is a good initiative. It is a place, it is an organization where everybody that is a member of it is going to be equal. Is everybody that is a member of it, they are going to be equal. It is not about where you are going to become artificial member of the United Nations Security Council, which was formed by the Western, global, Western, or the West, will I say. It is now about the global South. It is now about the people. It is very, very important for our people to understand that the BRICS bloc is going to be the greatest organization, and they are African friendly. So we know that the people where we have found ourselves that has been amalgamated by Britain, which is called Nigeria. Nigeria can never take you to an initiative that is going to be, beneficial to you, or to be beneficial to the economy of such nation called Nigeria. Rather, they would always want to be Nigeria would always want to be where their master pushed them to be, such as being artificial members of United Nations Security Council. They don't want to try something else. They are not actually, they don't have foresight. They are the worst negotiator when it comes to business proposal. That is the reason why, they have a business agreement with the Niger Republic. Immediately when the coup took place, they did not renegotiate the business agreement. They did not want Niger Republic. They run off and cut the electricity that they supplied the Niger Republic, because when you give the Nigeria power, they will misuse such power. When you give them power, they misuse it. That is the reason why you will never find a leader in Nigeria that is going to lead Nigeria to economic stability or financial freedom. You will never find a leader in Nigeria that is going to do so. Do you know why? Because Nigeria is a nation that is created not for the sake of empowering people who are domiciled in that nation. It is a nation created for the sake of Britain. Profit makers for Britain. So they will never allow you to breathe. They are actually strangling you, economic strangling. You will never breathe, and you will never ever, join force with moving train. That is the problem that you have in Nigeria, because of the structure that you are working upon, that you are building upon. Such structure can never lead you to move forward, and such structure will never allow you to emancipate. Now you will understand that another thing that is very, very problematic in Nigeria is the education system that you practice in Nigeria, coupled with the religious system that you have in Nigeria, which empowers the type of education system that makes you to be a lame man and uninformed. Even after you finish your varsity, even after you have read everything you have read, you will be dependent on a white man from Europe to manufacture what you are going to use. It is something that is very, very worrisome. It is very, very worrisome if you are a human being who understands that economic emancipation is something that you need, and you cannot achieve this economic emancipation with the type of education system that you are having. You are not bringing practical, you are not being pragmatic. Your education system does not allow you to be pragmatic. Your education system promotes only English language speaking. Once you are able to use these vocabularies and use the terminologies in the English language, then you are educated in Nigeria. While other nations are building the future leaders and future innovators, which are going to actually rule over the world and rule over you. Yet you continue to be dependent in this education system that you have actually, they have given to you. Why? And couple it with a religious system that they have also given to you. That religious system they have given to you, it is a problematic religious system which is making people to be stupid, which is making people to see what they're supposed to do to help themselves. They will never do it because they will also say no. With prayer, you move mountain. With prayer, you move mountain. But Chinese man is not moving mountain with prayer. They are moving mountain with going into the field of area of work where they want to actually specialize on. If they want to become an engineer, they go into the field of area of becoming an engineer. If they want to be a medical researcher, they have a lab, they have, facilities where they will conduct their research. They have everything. If they want to be an engineer, they know where they are going to go, into companies, into factories, into manufacturing. They will become what they want to become. They are not going to read English before they become who they want to become. That is, why I will quote from a Rastafari who said that Nigeria was colonized, just like India was colonized by Britain, and India decided to reject the religion of Britain, reject the language of Britain, reject the culture of Britain, reject the food of Britain. They decided to embrace the technology of Britain. But when you come to Nigeria, which was created mainly for profit of Britain, they actually accepted the language of Britain. They accepted the culture of Britain. They accepted the food of Britain. That is the reason why you see in Nigeria you have white wedding. Instead of actually, focusing on your traditional way of marriage, you are prioritizing the white ways of marriage because you adopted everything that is Britain. That is actually going to be a negative vibe on your own life. But you decided to reject British technology. You rejected British technology. And that is the reason why you are going to be dependent on them. There is so many ways I have told you that uranium is in Nigeria. In several occasions, I have told you that there is uranium in Nigeria. Several occasions, I have told you that Nigeria have uranium. But the most, things that happens is that when we actually tell our people what is going on, they might not understand how we are extracting these things. Uranium is found in Nigeria. Uranium is surplus in the northern Nigeria. The reason why they will not bring it for your own knowledge, it is for you not to say. So since we have discovered this uranium, that is the reason why Boko Haram, that is the reason why ISIS in West Africa is over, making sure that they are protecting the land for Britain. They are protecting the land for Britain and the West. So in this regard, you will find out that these people will continue to protect the land where these natural resources is found for the sake of Britain. And at the end of the day, you will not find it as source of your GDP or source of your, commodities that you are exporting to other nations, which is going to actually strengthen your economy and your currency. So in this regard, everything that is found in the northern Nigeria is being sold in a black market. And those things, the way they are being sold in a black market, it does not have any positive effect towards your economy. It is only going to continuously have a negative effect towards your economy because it's supposed to bring a lot into your economy. Rather, the mining, illegal mining, and the what you are spending trying to fight off this illegal mining and the terrorism that comes with it, it is actually going to make it is depressing Nigeria economy, for lack of a better word, and you are not going to actually move forward as long as you have a nation on a status quo as Nigeria. You are never going to move forward because it is something that is deliberately done. If it is something that is a mistake of a leader in Nigeria, it can be corrected with the next leader if you choose another leader. But it is not a mistake that can be corrected by choosing a new leader, by depending on another leader, by telling yourself, no, a new leader will solve this problem. It is not a mistake that is going to solve like that. It is a mistake of the status quo, a mistake that is actually done from the beginning, which, if you want to solve the problem, let us go back to what we were pre-colonialism, because we were better and a greater nations pre-colonialism. In that area of sub-Saharan, just like you have discovered uranium in the northern Nigeria and we have oil in the eastern Nigeria, just like you have discovered uranium even in the western Nigeria, we have oil in the eastern Nigeria. We can make use of these things. You give me uranium, I give you oil. You give me uranium, I give you natural gas. We can actually continuously do our trade by barter, which was before they came, and abolish all these things that actually enable us to live as a greatest nation, which they actually, when they saw how we were living as a nation, they envied it. They envied it. That's why they came closer. And that's why they decided to enact a policy that is going to actually enable their own agenda to thrive. And before our eyes, they actually achieve those. In the last 500 years, we were being, exploited, systematic exploitation, because they have removed something that will enable you to make use of your resources from your education curriculum. Even if you go to Cambridge, even if you go to any university that is outside Nigeria, that is in the West, you will have a mind of a white man, but wearing a skin of a black man, which is that limitation. It can never be compatible with each other. We had our system of education before they came that made us so great that we are able to share tech. We were able to share knowledge. We were able to share goods. We were able to share resources, natural resources. We were able to share everything, which brings us unity and equity in our, in all the borders of Africa, if there was. But the new system that came amid colonialism or post-colonialism, such system decided to abolish all and gave us something that is, going to continuously exploit our natural reserve, natural resources, our riches. After exploitation of our riches, they will now give us they call it a financial help through UNICEF, Oxfam, Red Cross, then Life Aid. They will continuously to give us from this organization. They call them what do you call them? Those organizations that are going to help people. They tell you they are funding you, they are doing this. Those are these organizations which through them they do their clandestine job through this organization. Through this organization, they will implement all the things that all these terrorists, they need in order to continue to thrive in your own borders, in your own bushes. They do more harm than the good they are doing. Because you allowed yourself to be presented to be as a beggar. Instead of making yourself to be presented to be as a master. Because how you make your bed, so you lie on it. But we have made that mistake. They have manipulated us to that mistake. And the reason why I am continuously so much, in respect with my ancestors, because my ancestors resisted. My ancestors fought against it. My ancestors did everything that they have to do. But the one thing that they always use against black man is using a black man against black man. That is the only thing that they will use to destroy every move of a black man. Using yourself against yourself. That is the reason why, because of the fight we were fighting more than 500 years ago, 4 generations ago, that fight we were fighting, we continuously fighting. It led us to that war of 1967. We revolted, we rebelled. We say we cannot sit under this seat of colonialism because we saw where it is going to take us. We wanted to abolish such thing before it will even expand its wing. But they use Nigeria because Nigeria is a British stooge. They use Nigeria to topple, upon this our beautiful initiative to free that area or that region of sub-Saharan from economic instability, from economic exploitation. That is the reason why, for you to understand verily that we had everything it takes to build the greatest nation in Africa, just like the Chinese is doing today. Because we are not like Nigeria, who only embrace the language of Britain, the language of their colonizers, or the culture of their colonizers. We embrace the science and technologies that is of our ancestors. Because we didn't want to take the one because it was our science and technology that was taken from us, and they revolutionized it. They came back to sell it to us. That is something that an African, children need to understand, because when they continue to tell us, they tell us that we are a monkey nation. When they arrive, we were naked, we don't have anything, so that we will actually be dependent on them to say that these people are actually the God. If we were a monkey when they arrive, why do they have to paint our Jesus to become a white person? Because if we were a monkey, it means that Jesus was like a monkey who was also naked. So why do they have to paint him to be a white guy today? Because there is something about us. There was something they saw that attracted them to us. And they rip off that thing from us. They make use of it. That is the reason why I continuously tell you we discontinued from our heritage. And that heritage is what we are in pursuit to actually buy back. And regardless of what is this going to take us, we are going to achieve back and take back that heritage that we have been discontinued from. And that is the reason why we have embarked on this journey called self-determination, in order to emancipate our mind emotionally, emancipate our mind psychologically, emancipate our lives, emancipate ourselves economically from this economic yoke and emotional yoke of neocolonialism. And for us to achieve it, we must revolt against every structure that have put in place. That is, they call it, that some of you who are actually, historically myopic, they will tell you that it is unification. No, there is no way your colonizer will unify you, because your unification is the greatest fear they have. So if they eventually unify some part of you, it means that unification is actually the biggest challenges that they have given you to continuously facing. And while other people who are outside the game, they will believe that the mistake that people make in the game is actually, ordinary, or they are deliberate about such mistake without knowing that it is the structure of the game that enables them to make such mistake. And without you changing the formation of the game, the mistake continues. So that is the formation we wanted to change in 1967. We were very, very industrious in 1967. That's why we were able to manufacture military equipment that we used to, rebel or repel British artilleries, Russia artilleries, Egypt help. We were able to build such weapons. And does not mean we cannot build it. Does not mean we cannot still build it. Because myself, when I was growing up, I used to use a diagram to actually build anything. Any component on it, I use a diagram, I can build a flasher, I can build amplifier, I could build many things with a diagram. We were able to measure the diodes, the resistors, the capacitors. You bring a panel, you construct these things, it will become back, it will work, it will be in a working order. But what happened to it? At the end of the day, you have no support. You have nothing to actually back you up. At the end of the day, all these things, they vanish. Now you become a repairer. Maybe you can repair stuff instead of you innovating stuff which you knew how you do it, how to do it. Because we will never have a support. As long as we are still under this shackle of economic exploitation by Britain, we are not going anywhere. So that is the reason why we are now coming to tell you that what is happening in Niger Republic, it is something that you have seen. This is exactly what we did. Niger Republic turned against us, supporting Nigeria when we did our own. In 1967, they decided to rebel against us, supported Nigeria militarily, and they killed our people because they didn't understand what self-determination was all about. But today, they have believed in self-determination. That self-determination is what they have implemented, for them to emancipate themselves from the shackle of the French. Now, emancipation of themselves from the shackle of the French colonies or colonizers and economic exploitation by the French. That's which resolved to this military coup that took place. There was a question Mazichina Sanworu asked yesterday, which actually got me thinking. He asked a question, why was it that when Burkina Faso did their own coup, nobody, we didn't hear from ECOWAS. We did not see meetings or extraordinary meetings, United Nations meetings with ECOWAS, the West meetings with ECOWAS. When Guinea-Conakry did, we didn't see such extraordinary meetings. When Mali did, we never saw this extraordinary meeting. Why then did Niger Republic do their own? We started seeing extraordinary meeting because the new phase of, the drive of the transition of the world economy is actually found and discovered in Niger Republic. What do I mean? Uranium. Uranium is what they will use to diversify the energy crisis, which is, going to be more green than coal power plants. It is going to be more green than all these carbon emissions. So uranium is what they will use to replace carbon emission. So founding uranium is founding a new ways to dump Africa into their dustbin. Finding uranium surplus. Niger Republic is 7th producing uranium in the world. 7th producing nation that is producing uranium. 7th in the world index. They produce the highest uranium in the world. The 7th in the index. And the French has been there, exploiting it slowly, exploiting it quietly, taking it to their country. They have, probably now they have the most uranium reserve. What they have exploited, the rumor says they buy it $11, while they know that they sell it $250. So these things you see, it is looking for a new ways to diversify the energy crisis. which they have actually discovered that carbon emission, according to them, is making the climate sick. I am not a professional when it comes to that. So I don't know whether it is making the world sick or they are purposely making the world sick in order to bring this new transition in without you knowing what drives the transitioning and without you knowing what exactly they are going to introduce next. They have used this uranium to establish nuclear weapon in the past 80s, 90s. They have built different types of nuclear weapon with this uranium. Does Africa know even how nuclear weapon look like? The answer is no. They hear it, but they don't know how it looks like. But they have what is the main ingredients for making nuclear weapon. They are using this uranium to do nuclear fuel. Nuclear fuel. They are using this uranium to build nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plant. To power nuclear power plant. They will use this uranium to replace their coal power plant. Are you getting it? There are many things they will use this uranium to do. And once they are done, remember they have sold to you so many carbon emission engine. They have sold to you carbon, emission. They have actually sold to you carbon emission power stations. They have sold to you a lot of technology that is carbon emission. So they have to now make new one in order to scrap the old one they have sold to you. Remember that you cannot manufacture these things. Therefore, if there is a diversification, if there is a new transition, you are not part of that revolution. You will never be part of such revolution. So therefore, they have to now continuously to change it, because now Innocent is manufacturing vehicle. There are a lot of African people manufacturing vehicle, so they have to now bring a new, they have to now have a new revolution towards this manufacturing, so that it will be difficult for you to actually come closer. And once they have this new revolution, the next thing they are going to do is they do away with those ones that you have learned. Once they do away with those ones that you have learned from them, or you have started making use of, they do away with it. What you have to do is to start afresh. That is always their plan. Once you are actually trying to wake up, they actually move into another level that you may continuously be dependent on them in order to even eat or move. So that is the plan of looking for uranium, tooth and nail, fighting to make sure that they get their hands in this uranium. Iran, they have manufactured their nuclear weapon through this uranium. They have reached more than the amount they want. They have reached more than 100%. They have built their weapon through this uranium. They continuously to tell you that they haven't. But we know these things that you have seen that is happening around the world, creating world power. India, they have learned how to diversify their problem by transitioning their country, their economy into industrialized economy. Now their industrialization of their economy brings them to the global stage. They are able to contend with the big world because they have this science and they have this technology. They are the emerging market. India is now going to be a production center of the world very soon. India, they have the boot on the ground, they have the manpower, they have the number. Just like Chinese. Why is all these places, why are they doing well? Remember when India and Pakistan were facing crisis, they decided that no, they have to go their separate ways. Pakistan went their separate ways. India went their separate ways. Today, the both countries, India is doing well. I don't know, Pakistan, of course, Pakistan even have a nuclear weapon, which all of us are aware of. How many African countries have a nuclear weapon? The answer is none. If not that, the killing of those scientists that is coming from Pakistan and India very many years ago, they were going to go very far. But there was execution that took place that actually drew them back from establishing so many things. They built a nuclear weapon very many years ago. But those people that innovated it after the war in Pakistan and India and Bangladesh, you know, those people were killed because they did not want such innovation to come from outside the West. So that is by the way. Now you see the Niger Republic fighting to elevate themselves and fighting to move away from these French colonizers, those French who are cleaved onto them, sucking them dry, holding their reserve, because the French policy is that 50% of your reserve will be deposited into their bank. Will be deposited into their bank. That before you assess this 50%, you will declare your financial, you will declare your financial, what do you call it? Financial, you actually present your financial year to make sure that that reserve is complete before you will be able to assess it. So who does that? Imagine a nation from somewhere controlling your own nation without any cause, and yet they will tell you they have given you economic they are giving you financial aid. Financial aid for what? When they are still cleaved onto you, exploring your resources and claiming they are giving you financial aid. The same thing they have done against us over the years. When we try to break free, so many myopic leaders in Africa decided to work against us from being free, because even them, they are allergic to freedom. They want to be empowered by themselves. That is the reason why for the leaders of Africa to understand what freedom stands for, it is when they are able to create financial freedom that everybody around them will be free, so that they will not be as afraid of criminals. But they want to be a tree that make a forest. That is that is actually the mindset of the African leaders. A tree that makes a forest. It will be only them that will stand tall in a forest, while every other tree is swallowed by them. So that every other tree will be bowing down to them. Don't swallow me, please. Master, please drop something for the boys. That is exactly what African leaders they need. They need to be praised. You must pray them before they will actually release anything for you. Because if they release if everybody is rich, no one will, not actually rich, if everybody have economic freedom, financial freedom, no one will be worshiping another. Everybody will just be respecting everyone. You give honor to, because respect is earned. You respect people the way they will respect you, without you being prejudiced against them, without them being, scared that you might steal from them. So that is exactly, what it means by collective success. But African leaders, they are actually the believer of single man success, single family success, single family empire, so that you will continue to intimidate the rest of the families. Once you build an empire, you continue to intimidate the rest of the family instead of having, this economic empowerment so that everybody will have, so that you will not be scared that this person will want to kill you to take what you have. They don't think about it. Economic empowerment solves security crisis. But African leaders don't know this. The only thing they know is that we empower ourselves. These people, I know how to handle them. Maybe Bazoum will say, no, I know how to handle these people of Niger Republic. I will handle them. The same thing they have planted Tinubu in Nigeria, even though he never won an election. They gave him power. They promoted him. Before you know it, from the USA, they gave him big congratulations. Even though the forgeries, the rumors of his forging certificate from Chicago University, being a female attending Chicago University, now becoming a male using the same certificate, it is actually something that it is worrisome for you to know. That is what propelled the renowned writer, fiction writer Lady Chimamanda Ngozi Chukwuadichie decided to write to the United States to ask them why are they congratulating a fraudulent election, which they are well aware that it was a fraudulent election. And I made a broadcast and I said that letter will be quashed and thrown into the dustbin, because what they are promoting is what is going to favor their own foreign policy. The foreign policy of Nigeria is dependent on the decision and the wants of the president, not what is going to drive the country forward. That is the reason why it can never work. Pakistan and India, Bangladesh, they divided. Both of them are better nations today. India is emerging because maybe had it been Pakistan was with them, they will use one of themselves against themselves, and they will not have economic growth. Now India is actually one of the economic powerhouse of the world, the center of next industry, production of the world, like China. Where our people will be dependent, no, I just told 20 feet. We're going to bring 20 feet, 40 feet of container. It is India is the next one. Are you aware of that? Why will it not be your place, where people will be wanting to come and get 50 feet, 40 feet containers, including tiles, everything, motorcycles, even phones. Indians are manufacturing it. What is Nigeria manufacturing? What does India have that Nigeria does not have? There are many things Nigeria have that India does not have. So why exactly is India moving forward but Nigeria is not moving forward? Because India discovered that amalgamation or that Pakistani amalgamation, Bangladesh, that once they break free from that they will do better in future. And they did that, it worked for them. Just like so many countries in the sub-Saharan region are doing coup. According to themselves, they believe that once they break free from this democratic process, or this democracy that the West use to manipulate themselves and put their stooge into the position of power, who is not representing their own people, but rather representing his stomach and the rest of the Western nation. They decided to say, no, enough is enough. We have to go through this route to find a way to free our people, but we don't know the mindset of those who did the coup. But there is a piece I want to read here. I have spoken a lot. Let's go into action. Let's get down to the action. There is a piece I want to read here, because looks like they have they decided to tell their story as per the reason why they did the coup. Let us find out. And don't forget, there is something important I want to show you so that you will know the plan of these infiltrators against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You know, I heard one autopilot saying, remember I said I won't be talking about these people, but I'm not making them a topic. I can bring them, flash the word. I heard one autopilot saying, it is not in the media space, that by this time next year, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will no longer be relevant. Autopilot man. And I am not lying about it. I have no reason to lie about it. And we are here to speak the truth. He said, by this time next year, they want to make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be irrelevant. And that's what he said that I will see. That Ekperima in Finland is the one holding flag. You know, it got me thinking. It got me thinking. I was so, I just kept quiet. Because the plan has been to make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to lose relevance. But the problem I have, why would the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, seeing this type of things, they are continuously lying to themselves. I mean the siblings of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They saw that this is the plan of this enemy. They continuously lying to themselves. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lose relevance, which is a fallacy, I know it is their plan, but it is a fallacy. If he loses relevance, even the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, will they still be relevant in the eyes of anybody? Will they still be relevant in the eyes of anybody? The answer is no. So, that is something that they don't know. They believe they are fighting Chike Dozem, they are fighting China Sangoru. They don't know that they are fighting their own selves. They are fighting their own relevance. That is exactly what they are fighting. But that is something they will not see, because a blind man is too myopic to see the bigger picture. Too myopic to see the bigger picture. How can I respect this person when my brother is in charge? How can I work under this person when my brother is in charge? I am going to show you two things that immediately when this guy said this thing, my mind went to these two things. And that is the reason why I sourced those two things. I brought it. But before I go there, there is a piece I want to read about the Niger Republic first, before we go there. Oh. And I will tell you the wonderful job Simon Ekpa have done in this struggle. In this struggle, I will tell you the wonderful job he did in this struggle. If I don't remember it when I am showing you that picture, just remind me in that comment section so that I will tell you the wonderful job he did. Because there is a saying that say, I will show you, I will tell you. Now, let me read. It is from, I am reading it from the BBC. The Niger coup, why some people want Russia in and France out. Russia in and France out. This is BBC carrying it. In a sign of growing hostility towards the West since the coup in Niger, a businessman proudly showed off his outfit in the color of Russian flag in the traditional heartland of deposed President Mohamed Bazoum. Since the coup, there has been a war of words between the military and the West. Mr. Bazoum was a staunch ally of the West in the fight against militant Islamists and was a strong economic partner as well. Now, they said that Mr. Bazoum was a staunch ally of the West in the fight against militant Islamists and was a strong economic partner of the West. This is from BBC. One thing that I don't understand here is that, or one thing I want to actually understand here is when they say that he is, I don't know if I'm still coming out clear. Yeah, I think I am still coming out clear. Maybe I am, my video is not moving. I know that they will start kicking you out. If they kick you out, bring yourself back up. Yeah, if they kick you out, bring yourself back up. We are having some, some partial video movement. It is clear. Thank you very much, Nwa Chineke, Aka Chineke. So they said that that Bazoum was a staunch ally of the West in the fight against militant Islamists and was a strong economic partner as well. Then you ask yourself a question. If this man was a strong economic partner and Niger Republic is seen as the poorest country in the world, which I don't even know if their GDP is up to $500 million. I don't know if their GDP is up to $500 million, but he is the economic partner as well as being a staunch ally of the West. So what exactly makes up an economic partner? Because there is a saying that says in our land, show me your friend, I will tell you whom you are. A bird of the same feather flock together. So what type of friends or economic partner are they when the GDP of Niger Republic might even be less than $500 million of a country, a nation? Maybe I'm overhyped. I'm even hyping it. Maybe I am hyping it. Maybe I am not updated. And they say he is helping to fight Islamists and was strong economic partner. Now, if this man was helping to fight Islamists, why then was there a complaint all over the place that the same man was not fighting the Islamic and the terrorism that is going on in that nation, but rather the man. One moment, let me check why there is no video movement. One moment. All right, I believe now we have a video movement. We are, just one moment. Yeah, I believe we are moving now. Okay, we are. So, it is something that is very, very ironic because if you show me your friend, I will tell you whom you are. So, how come this type of friend that Mohammed Bazoum is with, or was, I will say, because he is deposed, with the West, is a do they call it, what do they call it, economic partner or economic partner. So what type of friend is this economic partner that the country is so actually poor, but the economic partner that he is partnering with, they are so rich that they have to actually give him financial aid, free money. According to them, they are giving him free money, and he is still seen as economic partner and a staunch ally of the West in fight against militant. But now, if he really a staunch ally that fight against militant and the terrorism in Niger Republic, then why exactly is this thing? Let me show you this video to see exactly who is fooling who. Where is that video? 1 minute. Let me show you a video so that we will know exactly if what they are saying is the truth. Because these people, for them to lie, it is just very simple. It is very as easy as ABC if they want to lie. Listen to this video. Listen to it.
In Mali, we had a long problem of terrorism. Until recently, under the leadership of Colonel Assimi Goïta, we realized that, oh, these terrorists are formed by Emmanuel Macron,
Okay.
and her Western allies and SIA. Then we decided to remove their international organizations out of Mali, their embassies out of Mali, their military out of Mali, to break the supply chain of weapons, food, and their other necessary resources to fight us, to destabilize Africa. When we did that, we militarized the army of Mali. We then went to Russia. We came with so many weapons. We went to confront the terrorists, because now we know that the terrorist's mother is no longer in Mali. When we encountered the terrorists there, we taught them a lesson. You know what happened? The United Nations Human Rights Commission raised a red flag with an outcry that we in Mali are abusing human rights.
Okay. Did you hear that? Do you know the reason why I decided to play this? This is from Mali. And the reason why I play this from Mali, it is this because it is the same trajectory, it is the same formation that French is using in every of their colony. In every country which they colonized. It is the same trajectory, the same method, the same everything that they are using. 50% of their reserve is in the hands of the French. So the same thing that they implement in the way that they will tell you you are fighting rebel, you are fighting Islamist, extremist, and all that. It is the same thing they are doing. So if they are going to, call it human rights abuse, because Mali started fighting the insurgency of terrorists or religious extremism. Now, they call it human rights abuse. Is it not the same thing applicable to all those francophone nations that is within the sub-Saharan Africa, which is called the ECOWAS region? So what do you think that it is going to be different? They are praising this one that he is helping them to fight the Islamist, and that is helping them to fight the militant Islamist and was strong economic partner. So how can they be praising this one for helping them to fight these people that they have, demonized Mali for help to fight, for fighting them? I don't know if you get the point. They demonize Mali for fighting this Islamist militant, but they are claiming that Bazoum is helping them to fight it. So because now Mali is no longer fighting them with under supplied weapon. Mali is no longer fighting them in the terms of the West, because these people were placed in the epicenter of these resources that they want. That is where these terrorists are placed, so that they will be mining those resources and selling it in black market, and they will be using it to trade weapon, because the terrorist is all about wanting weapon, while the people who place them there is all about getting that resources where they place them. Is it not an irony? I know that so many of you didn't come here with your brain, so but I will clear you up. Let's continue to read. Niger hosts a French military base and is the world's 7th biggest producer of uranium. Did you hear that? The world's 7th biggest producer of uranium. I told you that, right? The fuel is vital for nuclear power, with a quarter of it going to Europe, especially former colonial power, France. It goes to the former colonial power, which is France. Since General Abdurrahman Tiani overthrew the president in a coup on 26 July, Russia color have suddenly appeared on the street. Russia color, the moving train. Thousands took part in a protest in the capital, Niamey, on Sunday, with some waving Russia flag and even attacking the French embassy. It now seems this movement is spreading across the country. The businessman, based 800 kilometers, 500 miles in bracket away in the central city of Zinda, didn't want to give his name for safety reason and asked that we blur his face. The picture is here. The picture is here. His face is covered. I am pro-Russia and I don't like France. That's what the businessman said. He said, since childhood, I've been opposed to France. They've exploited all the riches of my country, such as uranium, petrol, and gold. That is exactly what is their resources they have. They have uranium, petrol, and gold. They also have coal. They also have other resources. The poorest Nigerians are unable to eat 3 times a day because of France. The businessman said thousands had taken part in Monday protests in Zinda in support of the military takeover. He said he had asked a local teller to take material in Russia color of white, blue, and red, make an outfit for him, denying that it had been paid by pro-Russia groups. Niger is home to 24.4 million people, where 2 in every 5 live in extreme poverty, on less than 2.5 or $2.5. What is it? $2 on less than $2 a day. They survive on less than $2 a day. Extreme poverty on less than $2 a day. Now, let's continue. Let's see what they have. I've seen here they are waving Russian flag. Let me show you. I really didn't want to bring this. I will even still coming out to the screen. I really didn't want to bring this to the screen, but let me show you so that you will understand what we are talking about. This is it. This is it. So, of course, you saw the Russia flag that I showed you. I didn't want to bring it because I know these people that owns these things, it doesn't take them a minute to report the video. Those who own those news that we are reading, does not take them a minute to report those videos. So that's the reason why we try to avoid them by every means possible. So they are waving that Russia flag and making sure that they destroy anything France in their country. President Bazoum entered office in 2021 in Niger's first democratic and peaceful transition of power since independence in 1960. But his government was target for Islamist militants linked to the Islamic State group and Al-Qaeda, who roam across parts of the Sahara Desert and the semi-arid Sahel just to the south, under pressure from the Islamists. The armies in both neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso, also former French colonies with considerable French interests, seized power in recent years, saying this would help in the fight against the jihadists. Like Niger, both these countries previously had significant number of French troops helping them, but as the Islamist attack continued, anti-French sentiment rose across the region, with people in all three countries starting to accuse the French of not doing enough to stop them. And that is the truth, of not doing enough to stop them. There was a time where a picture of even the French president was found. This was found with terrorists. It was circulating everywhere. It was found with those terrorists. It was circulating everywhere. I know some people called it a Photoshop, but because that is what they tell a lame man. It is a Photoshop, so it is not truth. So don't believe it. That's what they normally tell lame man, but not people like us, because we know exactly what these people are capable of doing. We know that every terrorism in Africa, it is actually orchestrated by the West. It is well orchestrated by the West, and without fear or favor of them, we tell them that because that is the truth. That is the truth. Because it is their only interest that promote this terrorism, and they will come as if they are helping you to fight it, making that terrorism to, giving them chairs to sit in your country, giving them more things to actually own in your country. So that's what they do. So we cannot even downplay it, because we have actually nothing to lose about downplaying it or playing it. So once in a power, the junta in Mali welcomed Russian mercenary Wagner Group as the first forced out French troops, and then pushed for thousands of UN peacekeepers to leave. Wow. Good move. Now, although Islamist attacks have continued in Mali, Burkina Faso's juntas has also grown close to Russia and expelled hundreds of French forces in Niger. Anti-French protests were frequently banned by Mr. Bazoum administration. Several civil society groups began escalating anti-French protests in mid-2022 when Mr. Bazoum administration approved the redeployment of the French Barkhane forces to Niger after they had been ordered to leave Mali. So these are the reasons why you see what is going on in Niger Republic today. Okay, now, key among them is the M62 movement, formed in August 2022 by a coalition of activists, civil society movement, and trade union. They led call against the rising cost of living, poor governance, and the presence of the French force. Several civil society groups presence of the French forces. Okay, and they show a flag. There is a flag here. They say various planned protests by the group were banned or violently put down by Niger authorities, with its leader Abdoulaye Seyedo jailed for 9 months in April 2023 for disrupting public order. Now, this is exactly what took place in Nigeria. Are you paying attention? This was exactly what took place in Nigeria. In Nigeria 2023. When the NSAS protest began, this took place in Nigeria. 2023. It took place in Nigeria, 2020 NSAS protest. 2020 NSAS protest. This was the same thing that these people actually, this is actually bottled anger. They've been bottling it. This was in 2020 in Nigeria, was the military against the civilians. Now, this was what Bazoum did to the people who were actually protesting against their economic exploiters, who call themselves their colonizers. Now, the Bazoum was killing them using force and even jailing the leader of this movement. Now, which actually boiled down to the anger of this coup that you have seen today, because it looks like the military decided to come to the party because ordinary people cannot do it alone. Various planned protests by the group were banned or violently put down by Niger authorities, with its leader Abdoulaye Seyedo jailed for 9 months in April 2023 for disrupting public order. They call it disruption of public order. In an unusual move, its members were quoted by state TV mobilizing mass protests in support of junta, as well as denouncing sanctions by the West Africa leader over the coup. This is the recent one. It is unclear if group is linked to junta known as the National Council for Safeguarding the Homeland, CNSP, or to Russia. But it was the umbrella group organizing Sunday protests, where smaller civil society groups such as Coordination Committee for Democratic Struggle, Bukata, and Youth Action for Niger were also present. So, instead of, I don't have much time, I want Russia to help the security and food. He said Russia can supply technology to improve our agriculture. So this is exactly what they are targeting from Russia. So let me leave it here because my time is actually very, very limited. Let me leave it here. And so that we will touch on some other things. There is another piece that I am supposed to read. That piece is all about when the Niger people, Niger were discussing with some religious leader the reason why they had to turn down every, instruction coming down from Nigeria. They also said that even Nigeria is in danger of what they are. Nigeria is in danger of what they are trying to assuage. They said Nigeria is in danger as well of what they are trying to assuage. Now, the real story here now, it is about the Ghana decision. While your dear president in Nigeria is planning on military deployment and planning on the war he is going to go, Ghana has actually also, warned their leader not to make attempt of deploying Ghana military to be placed in danger. They want them not to put Ghana military into any danger of any sort, because these people understood exactly what is going on. They understood exactly what is going on. That is the reason why they decided that they will not have their soldiers going to be the guinea pigs. Now, let me read that one a little bit, this piece a little bit. Abort plans to deploy Ghana army to Niger, Ablakwa, to Akufo-Addo. That is what the Ghana opposition party said to their leader. I hope we are still coming out clear. Okay. So, he said that they should not send Ghana soldiers into the heart of this war, because they are going to place Ghana soldiers into danger. Look at it. Members of Parliament of the North Tongo and members of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Samuel Oku Zeto Ablakwa, is calling on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to abort any ongoing military preparation towards deploying Ghanaian soldiers to the troubled Niger as part of ECOWAS standby force. Mr. Ablakwa in a Facebook post indicated that the president has been opaque with his plan on Niger and refused to submit any request to parliament for true scrutiny, which he stressed is most undemocratic and awfully reckless. Now, did you hear what's going on here? This is exactly the problem. When we talk about the problem, this is the primary, evidence of such type of problem, that these leaders are fighting to restore democracy, but these leaders are undemocratic. Because I believe before you make any move, you must, go to your parliament, and this, the legislatures will pass that legislation so that it will enable you to actually, do the deployment which you want to do, in order to make sure that everybody is carried along. But that is not the case. That is not the case here. They decided to be undemocratic, while being undemocratic, claiming that they are going to restore democracy in the place where they are going to fight this war. But how do you want to restore democracy when you are undemocratic? Because the reason why there is a three arms of government is because every decision making is actually, every arm of government is carried along, which is the judiciary is the one. If legislation decided that the president is actually overriding their own decision, the legislation can take the executive to judiciary, to court, and judiciary will now make a pronouncement which is going to be a binding order. So that is the reason why these people, they undermine the system of government under democratic dispensation, yet they will claim they are going to. Why is it all these leaders all the sitting presidents in sub-Saharan, all of them are willing to deploy military for free. Why? To go and fight this Niger Republic. And believe you me, I am telling you that Tinubu is the one who is driving all this. And if he want to be the man, if he doesn't want to be seen as a coward, because that is exactly what he is going to be called. If all this gara he is doing, switching off light, deploying military, and them telling you that the military budget of Nigeria is bigger than ECOWAS put together, and if he is not going to eventually engage, he is going to be the biggest coward. I am telling you. He is going to be the biggest coward, and no one will ever take him serious. No one will ever take him serious. But I know that, of course, Nigeria actually talk before they think. They act before they think. So that is exactly what we are used to it. We are used to it. So it never started with this president. But the most important thing you need to understand is that I know that the president that you have in Nigeria, when it comes to the civilians in Nigeria, they are going to be very swift. But when it comes to deploying their military or using their military to do what the military stands for, it becomes problematic. And that is very, very problematic. I don't have much time. I have less than 25 minutes here, so let me try to use it. I will try to bring more of this maybe later. Let me touch on this. There is something I said I am going to show you, so that when we are done with it, we come back to this particular topic we are treating. Now, if you will remember what I said before I jump into this Niger Republic issue. Now, before we go there, I want you to understand that in Nigeria, I want you to know that in Nigeria, that is trying to fight to restore democracy, to restore economic sabotage in other nations. When they are living with economic sabotage, it is an evidence to show that every democratic elected leaders in the sub-Saharan region of Africa is a Western stooge. Is a Western stooge, and they will continue to promote the Western agenda that actually exploit them of every resources that they possess, of every growth, economic growth that they're supposed to have. They stand on their way. Let me show you. There was something I was reading, and I told you that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu talked about that it is not about religion. It is about the mind of a conquered people. I know that I have started talking about something they will use to start removing you guys, but we still need to have other things to talk about. But I want to show you this quickly. Listen to this video. Listen to this video.
I've been looking for your school sat. I saw one.
No.
You sat for 5 subjects with 2 credits. I don't know how. I want to imagine that you still have another to bring. If not, I would want you to explain how you got into university with that. Thank you.
No, not really this one, but this one is quite interesting. You know, a failed result, but they went into university. This is part of what is going on, the shenanigan going on in Nigeria court today. People who never attended the university, but they are actually the government of the day. who impersonated their university sitting. So let me try to bring in that video. It looks like I did not download it. Okay, look at it here. Listen to it.
In 1995, the need to look for resources to run African states became an issue. Nigeria was more or less totally bankrupt. The need to run Nigeria became an issue. Salary payment was difficult. Then Libyan government, along with Germany, decided to utilize a satellite from a private satellite company that has shares of government of Germany in it. They discovered uranium in abundance and in high quality, well spread in Niger. Out of curiosity, that leader and other leaders decided to say, scratch part of Nigeria and let's take a look. They were shocked with what they discovered. In Northeast, they discovered.
I don't know who put this sound.
And that portion, in part of Zambeza, leading to Lake Chad. What was deposited there? This is not hearsay. I was in Libya. I was
hear
in
that?
Along
I
with
hope you are
Nigeria's
paying
ambassador.
attention.
2 of us allowed. Then he was later told to go, and I was left alone, along with the Libyan leader and the German company and the owners of the satellite.
Okay.
What was kept there was capable of producing 10 Dubais. 1996. You can quote me.
Was capable of producing 10 Dubais in 1996. What was kept there? In 1996. How many years now? 27 years ago. 2 decades and plus half and plus ago. What was kept there? The reserves, the uranium, the resources that is found in these areas that have been ringing in your mind that they have these resources, but they don't want to disclose it. That is the reason why there is so much terrorists in those regions. They don't tell you so that you will continue to kill yourself for the sake of oil and gas coming from Biafra land, believing that this oil and gas is all you have. But you even have something that is greater than oil and gas that is coming out of Biafra land. You have something that is more greater in this, new industrialization that is coming up. You even have something that is the biggest leverage. Oil and gas is dying off because oil is dying off. Rather, let me remove gas. Oil is dying off because it is carbon emission. It is carbon emission. You have these resources. You even have gold in northern Nigeria, which is enough to develop northern Nigeria. But average northerners are actually poor. The only thing they have is good road in the north, in part of the north. Average northerners are hungry, are living in Paco. Average northerners are living in Paco. Why? But you have all these things in the north. Their lives matters as well. The life of ordinary people in the northern Nigeria matters. You have what it takes to make northern Nigeria safe haven for the people. He said you will build 7 Dubais 2.5 decades ago plus. But all these things were languishing there. Nobody made use of it. All they are looking for oil and gas in Biafra land. Pipeline from Warri. From Warri to Niger Republic. From Niger Republic to Algeria. From Algeria to Morocco. From there to Mali, Europe. Piping a pipeline for natural gas. It's no longer about the crude oil. The crude oil already have its own secret pipe going to Europe through the high sea. Now, you have seen the one that is actually upcoming, because they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline in September, I think September 25, 2022. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's why they actually, come up, they came quickly to sign up an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, to lay all those pipelines so that gas will start flowing straight to Europe from Biafra land. Natural gas, methane. They will be taking methane, which is very dangerous. Methane can explode. It can explode like bomb. So whoever that it is, the pipe is going on their land, that country is supposed to be actually getting something that is very, very, beneficial to them, because methane and all these things, they are very explosive. They are bomb. So that is something that, people that these pipelines are going through their backyard or through their, countries, some of them, they don't know and they don't worry about it. So one thing that we don't understand is that they are using this gas to diversify their gas problem, that as long as they have blew up the Nord Stream gas in the 25th of September 2022, the talks of this new development started that 2022 in September. The MOU was signed in September. What ironic, what an irony. And all in the name, because they are going to get it cheap here. Who is going to be in charge of these things? Them are going to be in charge of the exploration, because it is through their companies that they actually lay this pipeline. Through their companies, they will regulate the machine that is going to be pumping this gas out of Nigeria. It is through their company. So it is very, very important for for these northern people to understand that the life of their own ordinary people matters. Because all they do is to chase after Biafrans. Biafra Nnamdi Kanu is your problem. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, you shouldn't be released, is your problem. He is dividing Nigeria. With this, this stupid mentality that you will see, that Boko Haram is not their problem. Boko Haram is taking away the communities, killing people, massacring. Media is even, tired. The media is saturated of reporting these things. No one cares anymore. Except if there is one media that is trying to sell. They will find it and they report it. That's how you see what is going on in the northern Nigeria. Otherwise, you will not see it anymore. Because at some point, the dead Buhari cut off telecommunication in some part of that northern Nigeria, so that all this information will no longer come out. Their lives matters. They are human beings. Even though we know that they brought upon themselves what is befallen them. But their life matters. Their life matters. Let's continue. I want you to hear something here.
In the eyes of this world, Mustafa said so. I am not into rhetorics. I love this country. I stand for this country. We are already targeted and hated by numerous forces. But if that is what they should do for us rendering service to Nigeria, then definitely they have not started. What we discovered at that material time was a shocker. I asked questions as if I didn't understood what they were saying. The Libyan leader then, may so rest in peace, said, and I quote, I mean, what is in this place is enough for you to produce 10 Dubais, 1996. The product of this satellite was brought to Nigerian head of state by me. I brought the 2 metallic boxes. Where is it? Who took it? What happened? Where is the money? Now hold on.
It's
what
not about
interesting is
hand
what
and
I'm
saying
going to
action.
say. Nigeria is poor. Your industries are dead. But hear this. 1999, November 1st, I was in prison. They came to make me in prison. And they asked me numerous questions on the way we were managing some certain things about Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention.
Okay.
They mentioned some names of commanders they required to do some certain jobs for them. But the question I asked is, was it for Nigeria? At the end of the day, to cut the story short, is to tell you that Boko Haram was a calculated game.
Boko Haram was what? A calculated game. That's it. Boko Haram was a calculated game. You know, just like we are talking about, BBC was carrying about the way the people in that area of coup region is talking about how the Islamists and rebels and all that are calculated games. That is the same thing this man from the northern Nigeria is telling you. Boko Haram was a calculated game. Who is in charge? Britain. Britain. It does not matter how many of people who die for them to achieve their goals. Because once you are dying, they see you as ordinary monkeys. They don't see you as Homo sapiens. They see you as Homo erectus. You know, that is the reason why they decide to call you monkeys. Because you are seen as Homo erectus. They are Homo sapiens. You know, so as long as they don't see you as equal human like them, they will do anything to achieve their, you know, selfish objectives. That is exactly what you are seeing. I've been telling you this over and over again. And I saw this video today. I said that I will not actually move away without talking about this video. Because this video explains even further to the extent what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, if you notice what I played from the beginning of this video, if you rewind this video because it is rewindable, if you are watching on YouTube, you can take it back from the beginning, you see the clip of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that I played. Where I stop it is, it's not about the religion. It is about the mind of a conquered people. Now let me continue hearing from this man. Boko Haram was a well-calculated game. And they placed them there for black market of those resources that Boko Haram is protecting for them. Listen.
No, I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
It's not about screaming at Mustafa. It's about taking
I want
action.
us to listen with patriotism as Nigerians, because when hopelessness confronts a person who is thirsty, unknown to him, he is standing on an oasis. He is dying of thirsty. He is looking for water and busy praying. But the senses to dig the water and then come back alive is the problem of Nigeria. You are rich, you have it, you are scavenging for it. Most unfortunately. Now, from that time till now is 23 years. People might not tell you this, I'm telling you. I'm ready to be accused, abused, it doesn't matter. I am here. Precious stone has been what they have been taking. Boko Haram were our sons and daughters given a wrong indoctrination. Taking opium from Afghanistan, the hashish in the world.
Opium.
Mixing some wood, a certain chemical. When they dip a date in it, and then after 4 hours, whosoever takes it becomes a robot. You are totally robotic. Okay. You will respond to orders. You will not feel pain. You will not think. You will not reason. They kill numerous soldiers.
Okay.
Many widows in barracks. Many orphans littered all over.
Okay.
Many refugees scattered around Nigeria.
Okay.
Is labor aware? Keep that aside. It's the social ills created for Nigeria.
So the question I have to ask the northern Nigeria, is Nnamdi Kanu your problem? Is Ojukwu a rebel? Is Ojukwu the aggressor? Who is your problem? You cannot answer. Even though you are there clapping for this man, quoting, quote unquote, everything that is your problem. You cannot ask question. How do we diversify? How do we find a everlasting solution to this problem? How do we remove these things that is giving your people opium in order for them to become inhuman and start start thinking like animals? How do we do that? The politicians will never come into the party. The politician will still remain on periphery whenever this type of discussion emerges, because politicians are the ones who are making the benefit, individual benefit of this, conundrum. It is the politicians. Ordinary people are the ones who are being displaced. The children of politicians are attending the best university in the world, in overseas. But you ordinary people who sit there clapping for him without trying to seek for a resolution to this problem, Biafra is not your problem. Nnamdi Kanu is not your problem. Your problem is as a result of those who are myopically following the arrangement or agreement of Fulani ancestors with the Britain. Those are your problem, and as long as you continue to maintain that MOU signed by Britain in 1914, in 1960, you will never, ever, ever become free from this economic starvation. You will never ever become free. It is as a result of a conquered mind. That is the reason why you will never ask questions. You will never find a way to emancipate yourself from this neo-slavery. Because these things are before our eyes. They are happening in front of our eyes. Nigeria is actually having a power plant, a power generation plant that is capable of generating 23 megawatts. 23 megawatts per year. But do you know what they are generating? 4,000 megawatts. It was actually 12 megawatts for very many years. They were making use of 4,000 megawatts. And they are using the most efficient way of electric generation, plant, which is hydro, which is through the dam. The flow of water converts that to electric energy. And these things are reusable. It is not like a coal power station. And their megawatts, they produce more efficiently more than the coal power station. For you to see what Nigeria have, but they cannot maintain, they cannot make use of it, they cannot establish it to work for the benefit of the industrialization of Nigeria, because the industrialization of Nigeria started when electricity become a problem in Nigeria. They never work on it. They will never work on it. They are dependent on importing container from China, importing container from US. They are dependent on all these things. Importing inflation. How do you then think that your currency will not be more than 1,000 against $1 US? What makes you think it will not climb to that place? When your resources that this man from the north is talking about cannot be utilized and integrate into the economy or used as a GDP, it cannot be used, because what is in the north belongs to Britain. What is in the east? This is something that the Nigerians did not understand, including this illiterate who actually come and speak eloquently British language from the north. They will come and tell you that Nnamdi Kanu is your problem. IPOB is a terrorist, is your problem. But they cannot come and tell you that what is found in the north belongs to Britain and the terrorists. What is found in Biafra land, the home of Nnamdi Kanu, it is actually belong to Britain, Nigerians, and every other person. They don't tell you this. If the northern Nigeria are actually making use of their resources the way they're supposed to be making use of the resources, the greatest resources that they have Believe you me, the northern Nigeria is supposed to be it's supposed to be more beautiful than Dubai. That is the reason why we have seen these people. And no government is dependent on the resources coming out of northern Nigeria because they say it belongs to the north. It is not part of Nigeria resources. It is only the resources that come from our land that belongs to Nigeria. So why can't this northern Nigeria, since this resources that is found in northern Nigeria belongs to the north, why did they not use it to build northern Nigeria? Because there is a force that is withholding everybody that found themselves in that geopolitical area called Nigeria. That force will never let you be, will never let you breathe until you are all exterminated by each other, because they know historically you can never live together as one. So they continuously telling you about your diversity being your strength. That is what they have actually achieved over the years by telling you that your diversity is your strength. Are we still coming out clear?
Refugees scattered around Nigeria.
Okay. 1 minute. That your diversity is your strength. Are we still coming out? They continuously telling you that your diversity is your strength when your diversity is your demise. Because if not this diversity, there is no way the northern Nigeria will not try to make use of what is coming out from their soil, which belong to the northern Nigeria, as they always claim. Because even after making their claim, it still belongs to Britain. That's why you find Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, ISIS in West Africa, Fulani terrorists, all is emanating from northern Nigeria. Have you ever asked yourself why? Because there are resources that is more important in the northern Nigeria than what is they found in Biafra land. There are resources that is found more important in this present fourth industrial revolution that is going to help the West to thrive under the fourth industrial revolution. They found it. That is the reason why they started bragging in 2030. They will stop carbon emission vehicles. That's what is going on. They will stop manufacturing carbon emission vehicle in 2030. How many years from now? Less than 5 years from now, or less than 6 years from now, right? Is it less than 6 years? Less than 7 years from now, rather. They will stop carbon emitted vehicles in 2030. 7 years to come, less than a decade. Then what are you going to do? Those of you who have manufactured so many carbon emission vehicles, and now remember that when they do away with this carbon emission vehicle, they will now impose tax that is unaffordable on those carbon emission vehicle. That is making use of all these carbon emission vehicles, you will be paying tax that is unaffordable, that is unsustainable. Then you will decide to know, let me integrate. Now that is the reason why when I see Nigeria celebrities like the videos and all that, they're flaunting the cars, flaunting wealth, flaunting this, I look at them. I celebrate their success, having seen where they come from, that they made it to that point. But on a contrary, as a decolonized mindset that I am, I pity them. Because in this type of resources, this type of wealth that they possess, instead of them using this wealth to actually bring industry that will make their generation to come, 4 generations to come, never to go bankrupt. Knowing that the present situation of Nigeria, where they come from, or the present situation of the world as they are getting old, if they don't have something that is actually up and running their music is going to actually get they will no longer get gigs as they are getting old. They don't think about these things. They think about, I'm buying Maybach, I'm buying Lamborghini, I'm buying Rolls Royce. It is all about buying material things. It is a mind of a conquered people. We see it because look at it. It is a problem of every black man, including black man in the United States. Being able to afford what they want, not what they need, what they want. Once you are able to afford what you want, you believe that everything is all right. No, I am doing it. I am doing it. Hey, yeah, don't tell me about that. But immediately when they show you their true colors, just like they've done to Yeezy, he now understood the reality of the world. You know, when the people who knew the truth were actually speaking, he was actually against them. Immediately when they show him their true colors, he began to act like a mad person. That's it. It is all about you will be doing well until you wake up from your slumber. You will be buying Maybach, you will be living lavish, you will be giving contract because they know you cannot make use of it. You cannot use it to help the black community. That is the reason why they will continue to empower you. Once you started waking up to do these things, they will make sure they switch it off or they switch your life off. What happened to Coben Brown? These are the things we need to continuously asking ourselves because our celebrities, they are very wealthy, they are very affluent. Maybe they are living an image. Or does it mean that they don't have brains? That is something I don't understand. Because these people could help they could help the society to thrive. It is not about donating money to these people. You are doing great job, but why don't you use those money, create employment, empower people, employ them, build an industry so that I don't know what but it is your choice. It is your choice. It is up to me to just tell you the truth of the way it is. But at the end of the day, the choice and the call is yours to make. So that is a mind of a conquered people. The northern Nigeria is here praising this man for the secret that he is exposing to them. They are not praising him because they want to take action tomorrow. They are not praising him because they want to actually, find a way to diversify their problem. Using those resources is introducing to them. Or finding a way to make sure they safeguard where these resources are. So that to stop it from being exploited by other nations. No. They are just enjoying the story. Because it is a midnight story that he is telling them. Super story. All of them, they will be there as if they are listening. But the mind is a mind of conquered people. How would a conquered man listen? How would a conquered man know what you are telling them and know the solution to their problem? That's why Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, Biafra Restoration, Ojukwu become a rebel in 1967. Today, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu becomes the problem of the North. Who did this to people? Who did this to people? Because of oil and gas coming from Biafra land, because you believe that oil and gas now is the only... If Biafra is restored now, you don't have any resources because you don't want to know what you have. Do you see any Boko Haram in the eastern Nigeria? The answer is no. Do you see Boko Haram in the western Nigeria? The answer is no. Why is it in the north? Even it is the north that is the stooge of Britain. The Britain is using the north to control the whole Nigeria. The Fulani in the north to control the whole Nigeria. Why then is it the same north that is suffering from this menace attack of terrorism? Why? Ask yourself and come to your senses and realize that they are using you as a proxy to deter African growth and economic emancipation and freedom. That's what they are using you. You allow yourself to become a stooge and a willing tool. And they are using you wisely. Igbo man is your problem. Like the West people, they say, Igbo people, Omo Igbo na your problem. The other one will call you Nyamere. Nyamale people na your problem. Yet they tell you this our Nigeria, we don't have another country. It is only Nigeria that we have. And we must be patriotic in this our Nigeria. But Igbo man becomes your problem. Then tomorrow they will tell you our diversity is our strength. Your diversity is your strength, but Igbo man is your problem. Igbo man goes and marry your woman. Igbo man goes and build houses in your place. How many houses are found in Biafra land that is built by Fulani? None. How many houses are found in Biafra land that is built by Yoruba? Maybe if there is, it might be 0.1% or 0.1%. If there is any, how many is built by Hausa man, Paco, Bacha, inside the bush, and the Fulanis? That's where they stay. Or they become a megad, your gate man. They are not being your gate man just because they want to. It is because of their accommodation. So, who is the problem in Nigeria? Who is stopping the economic growth? Who is stopping the economic wings to spread or to flap in Nigeria? Is it not the West using you people in the North? While using you people in the North to bring instability across Nigeria, to make sure you bring, chaos across Nigeria, while they themselves, they have implemented something that will bring instability inside you people's land. Just like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will tell these Nigeria soldiers, go and look for ESN. By the time you come back, your land will be taken over by Fulani. Your community will be taken over by Fulani. Was it not what is happening? You are focusing your energy against the Igbo people who is fighting for their freedom. The same thing you should be doing as a human being who is a product of Homo sapien, not Homo erectus, which they see you to be. That is the reason why you are mapped out for extermination. It doesn't matter because you are a political class, because you believe that Nnamdi Kanu will stop you from where you are stealing money and feeding your fat stomach, and you're feeding your fat pocket already, without caring for ordinary northern Nigerians who are dying on a daily basis in the hands of terrorism. But today you are trying to protect Niger Republic from Tinubu to attack them. Why are you telling Tinubu not to restore democracy in Niger Republic? Because he is a Tinubu from the West. Isn't that? Had it been, it was a Fulani man that make that move, there is no way the North will say no. The North will say we support our president. We want democracy. Democracy is the best way of governance. That is exactly what you are going to say. We know that Nigeria is not one. It can never be one. We know that quite well. And I know, and I have said it over and over again, that Tinubu does not have time. He doesn't have much time in that position of power. The best thing he can do is to release that innocent man they have put in prison, and they want him to partake in that evil activities that was started by the imposter in Asorok, Lai Mohammed, Garba Shehu. Those are the people who started all this shenanigans, and they sold it to him because he is a Yoruba man. They want to use him as a proxy to fight an Igbo man. But that fight he cannot finish. That is one thing I am telling Tinubu. The fight they have used you, or they are trying to use you to fight an Igbo man. You cannot finish it. You can't. You cannot. The best thing you can do, release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because we have discovered that the court has nothing against him, even though that the next coming court, whether they say they have gone for holiday or have they've gone for a vacation or location, whatever they or recess, whatever they have gone for, that is not what we want to know. What we know is that the court has nothing found against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So that formality and the time-wasted strategy should end in the month of September. It is the best you can do. You don't have enough time. And it is my love for the Yoruba people. It is the love I have love for everybody that is in Nigeria because I'm a Pan-African. I am a Pan-African. I have love for every black man. But the most important thing is that I don't actually have love for a black man who ruined the life of another black man. I don't have love or passion for any black man who hating on any other black man. Does not mean that when you are evil, I will not call you evil. When you are evil, I call you evil without fear or favor. Do I look like I am fearful? No, I am not. That is the reason why I will continue to speak and expose all the atrocities of black man and what is propelling their atrocities and their European counterpart who are actually implementing the structure in which they will use to perpetrate all these atrocities. Because there is nothing that you will say that is happening against the black man in Africa that you will not link it to the activities of Western policy. It is all about Western policy. You can never be in denial of it, except if you are a liar. Except if you are a liar. The only policy that Kamala Harris will come to Africa, it is to promote things that will never help Africa to thrive. Do you know? Are you aware that Ugandan president went to look for loan? He went to, I think, World Bank or IMF. They didn't want to give him loan because he is anti-LGBTQ. They refused him loan. Then he told them that they should keep their loan, but he will survive in their country. But one thing is that these presidents, they are speaking well, they are doing some policies, but the problem I have sometimes with them, how are they treating their citizens? How are they treating their citizens? Likewise, Paul Kagame, a Lumo from, he is a president of, what is this nation? This beautiful nation. He actually built that nation to be so beautiful in Africa. What is the name of that nation? It is in East Africa, next to Congo, DRC. Paul Kagame. What is the name of his nation? I can't remember. But likewise him, I know he is also doing something for the sake of his nation. But, you know, the rumor we are hearing about what is happening in Congo, you know, it is not a good one. It is not a good one. That is deploying military in some places in Congo. You know, it is not a good thing that we are hearing about that. So these things are actually some of the problems we are actually seeing in Africa. Why can't we help to bring stability to other nations that is around us? Why can't we help to actually solve the problem from the grassroots instead of exacerbating the problem because you are benefiting from the problem? Fighting the West and treating your people bad. It is actually as good as you dining with the West. Because you cannot be fighting imperial power while you are being, you know, imperialistic against your people. So you can't. cannot rub bitter to pay Paul. The first thing to fight imperialism, it is to love your people first. Love for your people and get support from your people. It is the fight, the beginning of the fight on imperialism. If you cannot, forget it. You are wasting your time. All these shenanigans and all this act your people are trying to put out show, without, we still know that some of you are still double agent. It is about African liberation, and it must start with curtailing every policy, every structure, every amalgamation, every separation, every displacement, every economic sabotage. We destroy them and bring a new development, a new ones. Diversify our problem according to the challenges that we have experienced in the past. Let us actually finish this video, that we go to the infiltrators, we call it a day.
And Nigerians, what you may ask yourself is, how much of this real stone have you taken in 23 years? What has it contributed to Nigeria's growth? Did they build one single textile with the money? Who are the Nigerians colliding with their external factors? When did it start and how many Jews work with them? Can you even quantify the number of officers, soldiers killed, traditional rulers? Okay. Can you quantify the friction created between Muslims and Christians?
Okay, listen. I want you to pay very good attention to this one, because they will always label it is a war of, they will always call it is religious. It is religious. It has nothing to do with religion. Just like if you listen to the beginning of this video. Let me play the beginning of this video so that you will hear.
So you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest of.
Now listen.
What is going on? The freedom to write a constitution if you prefer. The freedom to live with whoever you want to live with. That is what we're asking for. But most people misunderstood what we are saying. And today, almost everything we have said about the zoo has come to pass. Everything we have told you, everything I told you has come to pass, hasn't it? Everything. And some people are still questioning and arguing. They said, Fulani will resist by all means necessary, including armed resistance, any attempt to forcefully eject them from the forest. Yoruba, you must ask yourself this question. When we were pursuing them from Ebonyi, why didn't they say something about ESM on Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Because they know we are prepared to die to defend our land. They understand that very well. That is the only language the Fulani understand. You cannot say to Fulani, oh, let us have a Fulani president, and after that all will be well. Never, ever, ever. They will continue to expand. They will continue to identify idiots in your midst, traitors, saboteurs in your midst. They will promise them heaven and earth. They will give them anything they ask for, in order to ensure that they get into you, they subjugate you. Look at Yoruba and the Ilorin. Yoruba, how did you lose a Ilorin? You lost a Ilorin because somebody thought or felt that by aligning himself with what he felt was a superior Fulani force, he can defeat his own people. Afonja, what happened? As a result of that miscalculation, the great Yoruba race lost a Ilorin to Fulani Caliphate. That is why in Ilorin you have an emir of Ilorin, not an Oba of Ilorin, answerable to Sokoto. That is where Lai Muhammad comes from. You can see them. Sokoto slaves in Yoruba land. When I say that, it's not religion. It has nothing to do with it.
Okay, it has nothing to do with religion. They said it is religion. It has nothing to do with religion. Now listen to this man. Listen to what this man said. Listen to it. There is somebody who said, I am spreading hate while hiding in a free country. You're Emeko Wam. Number one, your name is not even whom you are. Your name is not whom you are. You can never be a Mecca, because people that are called a Mecca are people who are actually wise, people who can reason. So I know you are a Fulani because you know that we are speaking the truth. That is the reason why for them to make it easy, they will always come and use Biafran name, Igbo name, to come and fight the gospel of emancipation. Whenever you try to preach it, whenever you hit it where it pains them, whenever you speak the truth to them, they will tell you, you are hiding in a free country. Look at this Mugu. He tell me I am hiding in a free country. What makes the country where I am hiding free? Why is your own country not free? Emeko Wam, just answer me in that comment section. Why is your own country not free? Since you say I am hiding in a free country. A free country, I don't need to hide because it is a free country. It is in the zoo called Nigeria where you are domiciled. That is on. Why is it not free? If I may ask you, Emeko Wam, because you have a mind of a conquered people. A mind of a conquered people. That's why you cannot realize that you are actually in prison, called a country. That's why your people are dying in Mediterranean Sea. That's why Tunisia and Morocco people are treating your people like piece of garbage. That is exactly what is going on. Because they are trying to get themselves into a free country. You don't have a free country. You have the audacity to bring your filth into the public domain. If I was you, I would delete this message and disappear from the comment section because you have shown the level of your ignorance. I am hiding in a free country. So you are now agreeing with me that you don't have a free country. You don't have freedom. Why don't you have freedom? Freedom is for people, human beings, not for animals. So it means that you are seen as an animal. That's why you are staying in a place where you appreciate that you don't have freedom. You are actually suffering from a Stockholm syndrome because you have embraced your problem. You have embraced your oppressor. You are actually have fallen in love with your problem. That is exactly what you are suffering from. When somebody speaks, you understand how ignorant they are, and you help them to actually diversify their problem. That's exactly what I have given you your peace. I am hiding in a free country. Why don't you try and call your government to make the country where you are staying, because you cannot speak as me because you are not living in a free country. You are living in a zoo or in a jungle where the big animals prey on the small animals. The small animals cannot even come out in the field to actually look for their prey because the big animal will prey on them. That is exactly what you have actually stated here. It is very, very important that you begin to reason like, a human being. Stop actually thinking like a conquered man. We are on the era of emancipation. Mind emancipation. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one is going to help you to do it. We are just actually lighting the fire in you, but the ignorance in you will not enable you to actually, catch up. But I pray that you will catch up, and this ignorance will disappear by the time we get off here. So, it is very, very important. You heard what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said. It has nothing to do with religion. Absolutely everything to do with the minds of a conquered people. Listen to this guy that I'm playing with.
Can you quantify the friction created between Muslims and Christians? When a bomb is lodged in a church, they will quickly write in the paper the next day, it was Mosque A that did it, and vice versa. They bomb the mosque and blame the church. It's not true. It's a game. So that when you fight yourself, when confusion keeps you aside, they are busy taking what you have. But you sit down. You sit down and look at newspapers and you believe in it. No, there are numerous respected journalists who are highly patriotic.
I want you to hear it. I want you to hear the part. There is a part that I skipped. I want you to hear it before.
Whosoever takes it becomes a robot. You are totally robotic. You will respond to orders. You will not feel pain. You will not think. You will not reason. They kill numerous soldiers, many widows in barracks, many orphans littered all over, many refugees scattered around Nigeria. Is labor aware? Keep that aside. It's the social ills created for Nigeria and Nigerians. What you may ask yourself is, how much of this real stone have they taken in 23 years? What has it contributed to Nigeria's growth? Did they build one single textile with the money? Who are the Nigerians collabing with their external factors? When did it start and how many Jews work with them? Can you even quantify the number of officers, soldiers killed, traditional rulers? Can you quantify the friction created between Muslims and Christians? When a bomb is lodged in a church, they will quickly write in the paper the next day, it was Mosque A that did it, and vice versa. They bomb the mosque and blame the church. Okay. It's not true. It's a game. So that when you fight yourself, when confusion keeps you aside, they are busy taking what you have. But you sit down.
Thank you very much. You have spoken very well. But I don't know if the people like this Emeko one is going to actually pick up anything from the piece you have given them. Because have you now seen it? The same thing. They will do all that. You will think it's all about religion. Because they will hide in the mask of religion and be doing what they are doing. That's exactly what I want you to hear. And that is exactly what I have in politics. In politics and economics. This evening, morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. Now I am shifting now as I am actually coming closer to the end of this program. There is something I want to show our people so that you will know exactly what is the drive and the plans of these infiltrators against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Because I told you that I heard an infiltrator saying that by this time next year, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will be irrelevant, while the thief in Finland is going to take over. I want to show you an evidence to it because, first of all, I want you to listen to this video. Listen to this video.
This one, or they can now understand that without Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, or call him, they can now understand that without Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election is not in our dictionary. They have come to understand that we are actually not talking about the boycotting of election. We are stopping Nigeria from conducting election. They can now understand that without Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election is not in our dictionary. They can now understand that without Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election is not in our dictionary. They have come to understand that we are actually not talking about the boycotting of election. We are stopping Nigeria from conducting election. They can now understand that without Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election is not in our dictionary. They have come to understand that We are actually not talking about the boycotting of election. We are stopping Nigeria from conducting election. The only election that is going to be allowed is a referendum. And I know that a radical awareness.
So, Carson chizitere m nwosu chizitere m nwosu. You said that I am talking nonsense against Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very good job. I am talking. Oh, you deleted your message. Did you delete your message? I think it's a wise choice. Let me reserve my comment since you deleted your message. But listen, because I did not say anything against your Simon. I am speaking and showing you the truth from here. Now, there is something I want to, after this one, listen to this one for the last time, then I bring another one, then I will tell you a good job this guy has done in this struggle. a good job he did in this struggle. I will show you.
They can now understand that without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, Enweke Semia, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election, is not in our dictionary. They have come to understand that we are actually not talking about the boycotting of election. We are stopping Nigeria from conducting election. The only election that is going to be allowed. They can now understand that without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, Enweke Semia, or calling boycott of election and calling off the boycott of election, is not in our dictionary. They can now.
Do you know what it means by they can now understand that without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they will get Biafra quickly? But this man is the one who tells you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. That's why he is going and intimidating women in the market. So what exactly, since you know without Nnamdi Kanu you will get Biafra quickly, so why then are you going to intimidate women in the marketplace? Why then are you intimidating women in the marketplace? Why then are you suffering people in the name of sit at home? Since without Nnamdi Kanu you will get Biafra quickly, which is the same Biafra you have promised to give them in 2022. Count days after that. Morons, you didn't give them anything. Now let me remind you something before we go. Listen to it over the last time.
That without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra fast. They can now understand that without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to get Biafra faster. They have come to understand that this one, Enweke Semia, or calling boycott.
So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is Enweke Semia. Now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu na-eme ife ndị Enweke Semia. So that is the reason why I allowed it to roll. You will not say that I manipulate this video. No. Listen to this another one. Listen to the latest one. After this one, then I will tell you the good thing this guy did in this struggle. Because, you know, we praise people when they do good. We actually fight you dirty when you are become a criminal. We praise you when you do good. We fight you dirty when you become criminal. But let me show you this one before we go.
Mazi, we will be focused. We will be focused if they stop saying Biafra is dead and gone.
Forget about if they say it, they want you to talk. So stop talking. Just pretend and let us talk. We have a lot of things to talk about. Okay?
Okay.
If
what is difficult for me?
Make it not be difficult. That is why the spirit is working for you. I want to deliver you and deliver other people. You see? So if they talk, leave Nelly Ofebu, leave all of them. And the only thing you should know is that Nelly Ofebu is working so hard to implement everything we are doing to see the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And it is connected to bringing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out, which is also bringing the Biafra out from the DSS dungeon. So you can't beat that.
No, Mazi, I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
I'm telling you now, no. you don't agree that maybe you're fighting for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
No, I don't agree.
That so you mean she's not fighting for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
Because you said Mazi is carrying Biafra. If Mazi is carrying Biafra and she said Biafra is dead, that means she's saying Mazi is dead.
And I have told you to forget whatever Nelly said about Biafra is dead. You yourself know that Biafra is dead.
Why would you?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? This is not my word. I am not here to debunk anything.
She said Biafra is dead. That means she's saying Mazi is dead.
And I have told you to forget whatever Nelly said about Biafra is dead. You yourself know that Biafra is dead.
Why would you?
Did you hear that?
And I have told you to forget whatever Nelly said about Biafra is dead. You yourself know that Biafra is dead.
Why would you?
Now, since we have showed you two things, let me now tell you something. The good thing that I can tell you categorically that this guy in Finland did in this struggle. This guy in Finland showed us how the mind of our people. He showed us that our people are very, very foolish. And he showed us that our people are very, very gullible. That is the good work that he has put up in this struggle. He had shown us where we need to channel our energy, that it is mind emancipation of our people, that the brain of our people is not functional. Some of them, or not all of them, some of our people, especially those affiliated with him, that he has opened our eyes to see. Igbos are wise. Biafrans are the most intelligent people. They are very most, wise people. He has opened our eyes to show us that it is a lie. It is a lie. Some of these Biafrans are overhyped rookies that need to actually, when you are teaching them, you must sound condescending, because these people, you must teach them as if you are teaching them as from, early, from nursery school. That is one thing that this guy did in this struggle. That is very, very important. He has shown us that once you bring something that is actually, glittering, our people get carried away. The same thing he does that makes them get carried away. That is exactly what he did. That we will continue. He has shown us where we must work harder to make sure, because if we take this type of people to go for war, this type of people will get order from enemy who is shouting, "Oh, hail Biafra." If you take this type of people who are affiliated to this criminal in autopilot, this type of people will take order from the enemy who is shouting, "Oh, hail Biafra." So we need to work hard and harder in order to restore the brain of our people who has been saturated with poverty, who has been bamboozled with suffering. All they think about is a way to run away from that suffering Nigeria. They don't think about how they will actually solve their problem permanently. They only think about how do we deal with zoo. They're not even trying to be strategic in trying to deal with their enemy. They just want to use emotion to deal with their enemy. Our people's emotion need to be placed in check. We need to teach them how to control their emotion. If we cannot get our emotions in check, we are going nowhere. All this autopilot, you see them that they are emotional set of people. You cannot go to war with this type of people because they will sabotage you. They will sabotage you. When they hear bigger gunshot from the other side, they will leave you and go that side. That is one thing that we have learned from the infiltration of IPOB. And it is something that is very, very important that we continue to educate our people. Some of these people who are still affiliated to them. Not to talk about these criminals, because we don't use our time. We use our time to educate our people. Very, very important. I am going to leave it here. Great and wonderful people of Biafra, great and wonderful people of Africa. We have done it once again, and we will continue to teach this gospel of emancipation, economic freedom, until we meet again. Stay safe, stay informed. We are going to be here maybe tomorrow between 7:30 Biafra time and 8 o'clock Biafra time to continue to preach this gospel, because we have a lot of cat to let out the bag. And we must do it because the freedom of Africa is at hand, and we must prepare our people for that freedom. It's a task that must be done. Thank you for coming here. Share the video, invite others to join. Until we meet again, shalom.